Speaking of excellent nominees, I'd like to speak for a moment about President Trump's outstanding choice for the Supreme Court, Judge Brett Kavanaugh. This week, even more of our colleagues have had the opportunity to meet with Judge Kavanaugh. I'm sure they'll agree that it's hard not to come away impressed. The academic achievement, the judicial credentials, the esteem of his peers and fellow legal professionals. Of course, that hadn't stopped the far-left special interest groups from grasping at straws and trying to smear this nominee any way they can. They don't seem to care whether it's honest or not. They don't seem to care whether it's accurate or not. The latest made-up controversy is an attempt this week to make hay out of comments Judge Kavanaugh made about the long-ago expired independent counsel statute. But once again, there's no there whatsoever. Here, Madam President, are the facts. Judge Kavanaugh's apparent concerns about the independent counsel law appear in line with mainstream views that have been widely held on both sides of the political aisle. Views that were, in fact, strongly held by many of my Democratic colleagues, at least until there was an opportunity to try to make political hay. Congress chose to let the statute expire back in 1999, based in large part on constitutional concerns. Let me say that again. The Congress in 1999, on a bipartisan basis, decided to let the independent counsel statute expire. My colleague, the senior senator from Illinois, the assistant Democratic leader in the Senate right now, explained this well when he was fighting any attempt to renew the statute. Here's what he said in 1999 about the independent counsel: unchecked, unbridled, unrestrained, and unaccountable. My friend from Illinois punctuated his enthusiasm for the demise of the independent counsel by saying, "I'd like to say to Judge Starr and all other counsels, your days are numbered." I agreed with him about the independent counsel statute. A number of us in both parties saw it the very same way. So we happily allowed the law to expire. This has nothing to do with special counsels. That's different from the independent counsel. The day the independent counsel statute expired, the day we actually finished with the impeachment trial of President Clinton here in the Senate, Senator Chris Dodd from Connecticut and I went upstairs and had a press conference and said, we agree the independent counsel statute ought to be allowed to expire, and it did. That has nothing, Madam President, to do with special counsels or any of the other tools that are currently in place for elected officials to be held accountable. This has nothing to do with any investigations that are in the headlines today. Judge Kavanaugh was talking about was a law that has not existed for 2 decades and which the Supreme Court upheld with only a single dissenting vote. And one of the dissenters in the case that upheld the independent counsel statute was Justice Scalia. The irony, or hypocrisy, is that our Democratic colleagues are now criticizing Judge Kavanaugh because he may hold the same views on this subject that they did. Or at least they did up until Judge Kavanaugh was nominated. A view that was shared and acted upon by members in this body on both sides of the aisle, as I have explained. So another day, another off-base attack. Here's how Newsweek dismissed this tempest in a teapot. Law experts told Newsweek that Kavanaugh's view on independent counsels has nothing to do with special counsels or Mueller's probe. And in fact, the two types of federal investigations are completely different. Yet again, the far-left special interest groups who are desperate to deny Judge Kavanaugh fair treatment are hoping the media will buy their latest made-up charge. Remember the outrage when it was learned that Judge Kavanaugh enjoys baseball? My goodness, shocking. Well, I'm proud the President has chosen a nominee as strong as Judge Kavanaugh. We should put aside these unfair attacks and misrepresentations and give his nomination the fair treatment it deserves.